Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to a new video on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page, English for All Generations. In today's video, I want to talk about my experience with learning English. So first of all, I want to thank my mother, even though she doesn't understand English, she is not watching this video. But I want to thank her. She is the reason that I'm here. She is the reason that before I started studying in primary school, she taught me letters, Arabic letters. She taught me verses of Quran. She taught me a lot of valuable things. And when I started studying in the primary school, because I started studying before that, I was the first in the class always. You know, when I got back from the school, I would study with her. She would teach me. She would spend a lot of time with me. She helped me a lot in my journey of learning in general. And even in French, I was the first in French in primary school. She taught me a lot of French. Even though she didn't complete her studies, imagine that. But she is very helpful. She is very smart. I imagine that if she completed her studies, she would be a doctor or something like this. Uh, so, so in the beginning of my life, I was the first kid in the school. Of course, we didn't study English in primary school. We started studying English in the middle school. And in the middle school, I believe that I was watching a lot of NBC3. There were movies in NBC3, I believe, from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. or something like this. Nickelodeon, Disney Channel. I was watching a lot of movies for kids, cartoons in English. I was watching a lot of things in English. And of course, I was the first in English in middle school. And I started to hate French in the middle school also. So I was familiar with English language, and I remember that we had a tough teacher. I move a lot. I'm very sorry. So I will try to keep. I will try to not move in a lot. I remember that we had a very tough teacher. So I would do the homeworks of my friends because if you don't do the homework, he was teaching us in the third year of the middle school. If you don't do the homeworks, he will beat you. So so they would come to me and they would say, Salah, please can you do homeworks for me? Uh, and I would do that for them. So I would change some of the words, I would change some things, and I would give I would do the homeworks instead of them. So I was the first in English in all my life in the subject of English itself. In the high school, I was also the first kid, but not in general, just in English. So in the primary school, I was the first in all the subjects. In the middle school, also, I was the first in all the subjects, but in the high school, no. I started to, I started to be a different person. I started to be addicted on the internet. Because I was very smart in the middle school, I was not. I had this, when the exams come, I would study everything, and I will be the first one in the school, right? In the high school, no, it's different. I I tried to study in the days of exams, but no. You have to study before before to be the first kid in the school. And also there is another thing that the teachers didn't like me back then because I was doing a lot of chaos. I was not very good uh, student, in terms of manners, and not in terms of knowledge. So the evaluation, the taqweem, right? The evaluation, it was very bad. the evaluation of being a good student. So I was getting 11 or 12 or something like this, but in English I would always be the first. Yeah, so I was the first in English, but all these years I didn't spoke a single word in English. I was and I had a great understanding of English language. I was good at writing or solving the tests maybe, but I didn't try to talk, and I didn't have the idea of talking in English. You know, I'm very good. So sorry. I'm so sorry. So I didn't. I was not cautious about the fact of, of talking in English itself. So I remember that in the third year of high school, we met the teacher of mathematics in the streets after we finished studying, and he started to choose the people who are going to get the baccalaureate certificate, and the people who will not get the baccalaureate certificate. So I was not one of them. He mentioned names that for the people who are going to get the baccalaureate degree. Uh, I was not from them. You know, I didn't like that, and I because I'm a very competitive person. If you say to me you cannot do this thing, I will compete. I will try to challenge you, and I will do it. So I locked in myself in the house. I didn't went to. I didn't. I was not going to high school for 3 months, and I get the baccalaureate degree with 11. You know, even though it's not a high mark, but it is very good for me back then. Because imagine that person. I was not. I didn't know anything about mathematics back then. You know, I was not even the basics. For example, the تالة اللوغاريتمية ln صفر تساوي واحد. I was not. I didn't know even the basics of mathematics. And in 3 months, I get I get the baccalaureate certificate. So, and thank you YouTube for saving me. So yeah, I chose English as the first option to study English in the university, and I chose economics as the second option. The the average of acceptance in the English department was 13 in Jelva University, and I got 11. So they didn't accept me in English department. They accepted me in economics department, which is very sad. You know, a person who is good in computer science, why you would send them to study geography or something like this? You know, so. Uh, so the educational system, there is a lack of because people should study what they want. So there is a gap in the educational system, and I started to be cautious about this in the high school. Why I should study philosophy and geography and those boring things for me, why I should do that? I started to be cautious about those things. I'm not trying to convince you that you should not study them. There are people who want to study medicine, so they should study those things, right? This is another subject. So they didn't accept me in English department. They accepted me in economics, and I was very happy, because English, you will learn English in your own, but economics and those things, it was very new for me, right? So I studied for 5 years. Of course, there is another story of failing in the first year of the university because I started to study for the back again, in order to, because of the society and the expectations of society. So I failed in the back and in the university in the same. I will tell you about this story in another video. Um, so I studied 5 years in economics, and the key point in the whole story is I met two of my friends in the high school, in the university, sorry. They were very good in English as me, and we started to practice together. So after finishing our studies, we would go to the we would go to account place. We would go to another department, for example, and we would start to talk in English together. And and I thought all of my life that I was very good in English, but when I started to speak in the first time, I spoke with the Jalfawian accent mixed with English. So it was very cringe. It was very cringe. My friends were laughing at me at the time. um, and the other friend had a different issue. He was very fast in speaking. He got the accent before he got the English itself. And the other friend was talking in a very weird British accent because sometimes he would speak in British accent, weird British accent. He didn't like the American accent. Sometimes he is very weird. but but the most important thing in the whole story that even though we were not consistent. Sometimes we would do it twice a week, sometimes once a week, sometimes we wouldn't do it. But this gave me the opportunity to be aware that I need to improve myself in the speaking skill. So I started to talk with them and I started to do my own things, talking to myself, recording myself, all of these things. And after that, I signed in the technical English. Of course, it is one of the best things that I did in my life. Even though there is doubt in whether you will be professional in English with the program itself. No, you should do external efforts in the house with your friends, with a community that are interested in English language itself. It's not enough to study English in the university, of course, but at least I get to make this page, Google Meetings, for example. I met a lot of people. It putted me in the community that I like the most. So the fact that I'm studying in English, I see lessons in English, I listen to a professor talking in English, I know people who are interested in English. This made me more excited in learning language, and we are studying together in this wonderful journey. And I improved a lot. I improved a lot, and I'm improving, and I'm thinking of being a teacher. Why not in the future? Um, yeah, this is the story in short. Of course, there are a lot of things that I didn't talk about because I don't have the time, right? But in other videos, I will talk about them. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that we can improve together. I really like the idea of the community and improving together and meeting the people and talk with people. I really like that. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm creating this page and doing Google Meetings and doing videos. That's why I'm here. So thank you so much for watching. سبحانك الله وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. I will go to the gym with my bottle of water in American accent, And in British accent, I don't know how to spell it. Boot of water or something like this. You should also go to the gym and learn English as well to improve your body and improve your speaking skills and English in general. Goodbye.